أعزائي المشاهدين، السلام عليكم. قليلون يدركون أن ازدهار ونجاح وتقدم المؤسسات والشركات والهيئات الخاصة والعامة يكمن في قدرات وحجم وسمعة دائرة العلاقات العامة المناط بها مسؤوليات التواصل داخل وخارج الهيئة أو المؤسسة أو الشركة من أجل تحقيق الأهداف التي أنشئت من أجلها تلك الهيئة أو المؤسسة أو الشركة. وما من شك أن من يتابع التفاصيل الدقيقة للعمل المؤسسي على الأقل هنا في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية يلاحظ الدور الهام والأساسي لدائرة العلاقات العامة أو التسويق في إنجاح أو إفشال مخططات واستراتيجيات الشركات. وعادة ما يكون الفشل حليف الشركات التي لا تعتمد في عملها على العلاقات العامة. فإذا قمنا بزيارة للكونغرس الأمريكي على سبيل المثال لا الحصر، نجد هذا الكم الهائل من الأشخاص المتمرسين الذين يمثلون شركات ومصانع وهيئات وغيرها يتواصلون بشكل يومي مع أعضاء الكونغرس والموظفين المساعدين عندهم من أجل استحداث وتمرير وتعديل قوانين تخدم بشكل أو بآخر مصالحهم المالية. الصديق مايكل بشارة هو صاحب شركة علاقات عامة في مدينة رويال أوك في ولاية ميشيغان، ولديه العديد من الشركات والهيئات التي يمثلها. أرحب أعزائي المشاهدين بالزميل الأستاذ مايك بشارة الذي هو معي للحديث عن كما ذكرت العلاقة العامة بشكل عام. أهلا وسهلا فيك. I would like to welcome you to our show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Michael, I know you for long period of time. We've worked together for a short period of time. I want you to tell our audience, those people who are watching us tonight, about your background, yourself, about your relation with public relation, when it started, and how it's evolved over the years prior to you establishing your own public relation company.
Well, I got my degree from Wayne in public affairs.
In Wayne State University.
Wayne State University. Mm-hmm. And went to D.C. in '87 mm-hmm. and worked for the AFL, the National AFL-CIO.
Okay.
And then I fell into public relations rather than it being a specific goal of mine. Mm-hmm. I began doing media tours for the college organization of the AFL-CIO on issues such as minimum wage, mm-hmm.
family
medical care leave, those kinds of issues that were at the time, and of course still are.
Does it run in the family to have people who are member of the union?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay. Well, how did you get into the CIO?
I had friends from here who had connections with the AFL-CIO.
Okay.
I'm really probably about the only liberal I know in my family.
Okay.
The rest of my family being moderate at best, mm-hmm. and very conservative at the worst. So I was very active in the old 17th Congressional District, okay. where at the time Bill Broadhead
sure.
and Sandra Levin mm-hmm. were the members of Congress. Mm-hmm. And so those relationships helped me go to the AFL-CIO. So mm-hmm. I'm working on these issues, doing media interviews, liking it surprisingly to a great deal. And so I fell in love with it.
And this is all in Washington, D.C.
Yes,
area?
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Went
and
to
Virginia?
Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., yeah. And I loved it.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know what it was at the time mm-hmm. so much, but learned and went to work for a big PR firm in Washington called Ogilvy Mather.
Okay.
So anyway, we ended up back here.
When did you come back to Michigan?
October of '96.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 96. And I was working for a public relations firm in Southfield.
Okay.
And got a call one day from the city of Dearborn.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they wanted to hire the firm.
But you were not living in Dearborn at that time.
No,
were you?
we were living in Redford Township.
Oh, okay.
Got a call from the city of Dearborn thinking, and after the discussion, during the discussion, thinking that they wanted to hire the firm.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, no, we want you. We've heard from two different people that they think you'd be perfect as the mayor's press secretary.
Oh, okay.
I was floored. That's something I had always wanted to do.
Great.
With my love of politics and
with
media.
your background as Arab American,
Yeah.
and Dearborn has,
Correct.
lengthy population
Correct.
of Arab American.
Yeah, and so I was thrilled. That was in the middle of April. I started in the middle of July with the process complete. And it was the best job I'd ever had.
Mm-hmm. What did you do exactly?
Well,
when we talk about press secretary of a mayor, and mayor of Dearborn at that time in the early 1990 was one of the most popular in the area because of his press releases all the time. I don't know if you were responsible.
Well, and I started there, and I'd like to think so because I started in '98. Before I had started, they were doing maybe 10 news releases a week.
Okay.
I bumped that up, what came to be about 30 a week, because I would ask each of the departments what they were doing, what messages we could get out that created a consistent message, strategic message for the mayor. So I was Director of Public Information and Press Secretary for Mayor Michael Guido. And one day I was walking through the hallways of City Hall. And the good old-fashioned newspaper bins. The Arab American News was on there.
Yeah, it started back in the 80s.
Yeah. And so I'm walking by during the summer of '98. I looked at the bin, and my picture was it took up the whole front page of it. I about fell over. So
as the new press secretary of the mayor.
Yeah, but the first Arab American department head ever.
Oh, okay. So you were the first ever
the
head of a department in the city of Dearborn ever.
Yeah,
you should write a book about it.
Who was an Arab American.
Okay.
So I don't know that I ever realized that. So then when I read the story about myself, it said that I was the first Arab American department head in history. So.
And that lasted until?
I was there 2.5 years.
Okay.
And I got fired.
Oh, why?
Mayor Guido, and I don't mind telling you this, and I tell you, I tell you the rest of his soul. I tell you this humbly. I said, "Well, what happened?" And I said, "I loved it here." He said, "I know you loved it here." He said, "You're the best PR guy I've ever seen, but you're too nice." And you know what? He was right. If I knew then what I know now, I'd have been in better shape.
Too nice in terms of
managing in terms of
dealing with the community at large, or with the staff?
No, staff.
Okay.
Dealing with
So
staff.
you had aggressive staff?
Yeah, they were. And I was naive.
Uh-huh.
But we got the job done.
Does it have anything to do, at that particular time with the Arab American as a community?
No.
No?
None.
So what was the aggressiveness about?
Everybody has their own agendas.
Okay.
There were people in the office who thought they should have become director, not me.
Okay.
So, that's what happens. And I thought if I ignored it or handled it in a certain way, rather than firmly, that the problem would go away.
What is the difference, Michael, between the job of public relation and the job of press secretary? Are there any major difference, or the press secretary is part of public relation?
Definitely the position of press secretary, the role of a press secretary is a part of public relations. My official title at that point, because we changed the name of the department through a charter change, was Director of Public Information. So I coordinated and integrated strategic messages, strategies for developing those messages, and strategies and tactics for conveying those messages to the public, to business, and to potential investors in the city. So in my role of press secretary, where I often, very often, talk to media in place of the mayor, I would convey those same messages to the press and to our people that we conveyed in general. Not because it was spin, but because it was, accurate, an accurate description of all of what Mayor Guido was doing. He was very, very proud of the 72 nationalities, as he always referred to it, in the city of Dearborn. He became very close with the Arab American community, but was also fiercely proud of the city's diversity.
Was he aware of the fact that you are of Arab American of Arabic descent prior to your appointment?
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, he may have been, but
so he did not hire you, or he did
No.
not select you because of your background?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough for him to have hired me because of my experience.
Okay.
And and my ability.
And he selected you from that particular firm, public relation firm in Southfield?
Yes.
Because maybe there's certain relation between him and that firm.
Well, there really wasn't. I mean, they're the owner of the firm and he knew each other.
Okay.
And I think also he
Was not Mark Lane, right?
No.
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 Okay.
No. So, they were aware of one another, and I think he respected my boss at the time enough to know all of the good things that we were learning there and that I had learned.
You lived in Dearborn since
99.
middle of 1990, right?
No, 99.
99. Up until when you moved to Farmington Hills, you
Livonia,
lived in Livonia
last year.
Michigan. How the community evolved? You are public relation expert. You own a firm of public relation. We will be talking about it in a minute. How do you perceive the Arab American community in Dearborn in particular, and how was the relation of Mayor Guido at that particular time? I thought that there was a lot of tension between him and the community.
Well, I can tell you that first and foremost, I am very, very proud of the community and the evolution that has taken place, the mainstreaming, if you will, of the community into elected and appointed positions on the school board, on city council, on commissions, on boards, and needless to say, the tremendous, unrivaled success of Arab American business in Dearborn. I tell you what I used to tell media all the time, and what I still tell people, that if it weren't for the Arab American community in Dearborn, Warren Avenue, Schaefer, and Greenfield would be nothing.
Be neglected completely.
It would be nothing. It would look more like Warrendale than what it does now. And furthermore, the way Mayor Guido, and since this administration, has worked with the old neighborhood revitalization Operation Eyesore program has been phenomenal. Our people are very proud of their homes.
Sure.
They're very proud of what they have and where they live. And so, our people have taken those empty lots and those old homes that perhaps no one else would want, and have invested blood, sweat, tears, and dollars into revitalizing those homes that have not only helped neighborhoods, but saved neighborhoods.
And I think the most important part of the whole thing is that the majority, if not all, elected officials in Dearborn and or the head of the departments, various departments, the head of the police department in Dearborn, along with Mayor O'Reilly, who is the best mayor ever to be the mayor of Dearborn.
I still think Mayor Guido is the best.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, all of them are very close to the Arab American community in Dearborn, and they are helping the community and responding to their needs all the time.
Yeah.
And this is great. It does not happen in all American cities.
Well, I think you're right, but I think the most important thing at the end of the day is that the issues most important to Arab Americans are those issues that are important and most important to everyone else in the city. Is my garbage being picked up on time?
True.
Are the streets plowed after it snows? How are my schools? And how is the safety of my neighborhood? I think those are the primary issues that mean the most to Arab Americans, as they mean to all people in every community, especially in this day and age of revenue sharing cuts and tax cuts.
As a public, Michael, as a public relation expert, when you look at Dearborn, especially for the last few years, how the issue of refugees from both Iraq and Syria change the image of the city, if it did?
Well, I don't know that it has changed the image of the city. But I tell you what I think it has done is to put on center stage how refugees are being absorbed
Treated.
and assimilated into a community without issues.
Everybody wants to help them.
Yeah,
Everybody is there to respond to their needs.
without violence, without
question asked by even the
without a
refugees
humanitarian crisis, without problems from the refugees.
Yes.
Everyone is willing to help everyone else.
True.
And I think rather than having changed the face or the values of the community, it has underscored what those values have been.
Sure. We drifted a little bit from the main issue that we going to talk about, public relation. What exactly, Mike Bsharah, public relation is? What is the job of public relations specialist entails?
Well, there's a range, all of which or some of which someone can, a practitioner can engage in. Everything from branding to messaging, media relations, writing skills, speech writing, and the like. We do everything at Bsharah Public Relations, branding, logo development, strategic messaging, media relations. We have very strong relationships with media throughout Southeast Michigan.
You have to have a good professional relation with the media. Otherwise, nobody will know about you, right?
Well, not so much that they won't know about you, but they won't respect what it is you're sending them. If you don't have the media's respect and don't have the credibility, no one's going to read a news release.
Sure.
No one's going to talk to you on the phone when you try to follow up and discuss the news release.
Is it true, Michael, that any company, no matter what size, whether it's big, small, mid-size, it won't ultimately at the end of the day succeed if it does not have great public relation department?
Well,
is it true, or
well, certainly,
even if there is a good president, good board of directors, intelligent workers, credible performance?
Well, I don't care how great your president, board, or department heads are. If they're successful and working hard, then their attentions are turned inward.
Okay.
Because that's what makes them the success that they...
Nobody outside will know about.
Correct.
Them.
So they're focused on internal operations.
Okay.
So that's all the more reason, if they are a success and focused inward within the organization, that's all the more reason that they should engage a public relations firm to talk about their successes, to convey the messages, why they're a success, and how they've achieved it.
I heard a lot that the failure of a certain company, it's always, they say, public relation issues. Is it true? I mean, a company with the great magnitude, with a huge budget, but ultimately failed because of public relations.
I don't know to what extent that may be true, but
You
I
have
can,
to know the details of what's
and I'd have to
happening.
know the details, but I can tell you this, that if you are a large company, you're vulnerable, period. And if you are not prepared to confront a crisis or a potential crisis, then you run the great risk of losing it
Failure.
all. No matter what your reputation to that point had been. And I think Subway sandwiches is the perfect example of that. They had goodwill. They had improving corporate numbers. Obviously, enormous name recognition. But when they ran into their problem with their spokesperson, it all crashed because they weren't properly prepared.
I was told, I don't know to what extent this is true, that the Congress of the United States of America, as well as all legislatures in each and every 50 states, including Michigan, they have a representative of various public relations maintaining offices, and they are reporting to work on daily basis at the Congress or at the various legislatures to influence congressmen and women, senators and policymakers and legislators to create a new law, to modify law, to create a new policy that fit the public relations,
their own objective.
Their own objective. Like, for example, you are Bshara Public Relation, you have hundreds of clients, and these clients,
Thank you.
maybe 200, 300. I'm reducing the number of clients that you have. But you will be working in Congress in order to benefit your clients, right? How does it work?
Well, theoretically, we're not there yet, but God willing, we're getting there.
Yes.
But the two words or the phrases that you use, I think, come to my mind, and you were putting it politely, public relations and influence. Certainly what we seek for our clients is influence and credibility.
Okay.
But in the role of those firms and those interests on Capitol Hill and in Lansing, their role is much more than a public relations firm or to seek influence.
Like what?
Well,
Spell it out.
Well, I'll
I mean,
tell you.
what is the role?
I think what comes to mind is the Israeli lobby,
Okay.
the gun lobby, the NRA.
So even those, they need public relation in order to convince senators.
Well,
and
that's
congressmen.
right. But I think my point is that there's a whole lot more involved than just public relations. I mean, I think, those two examples, have learned the lobby and the finance laws immaculately, which allow them to work with Congress
Okay.
to a tremendous extent for them, that allows them to get what they want.
So every company in Michigan, especially these companies who have interest in changing law, they have to maintain office or presence at least in the legislatures in Michigan.
I think if they're doing their job right, they need to be there on behalf of their client, in behalf of who they're lobbying for. And I know many friends of mine who do just that.
And how about you?
I don't have any political clients at this time, and I'm not doing anything in Lansing. But I have a great deal of experience doing it, both having been with the AFL-CIO and doing grassroots politics for a number of years. It's just that at the moment, I'm not doing any of that.
Is it important for any ethnic community in the United States, if you look at the Italian, the Polish, the Jewish, they always maintain good image. And this image created not only by hard work, by public relation. Do you think the Arab American and Chaldean, for that matter, community at large, they need public relation in order to work on their behalf with the public as well as the officials at various levels?
I wouldn't presume to say whether they do or not. But I can tell you that those two communities, the Arab American and the Chaldean communities, have each done tremendous jobs in talking about what their accomplishments are, what their priorities are, and why it's important, and their perspectives on the issues that are important to them. Christians in Iraq, highly important issue, needless to say, especially with all the turmoil and the violence going on in Syria and Iraq and everywhere else. I think they've done a remarkable job in getting the word out about what those issues are and what's at stake. I think
you mean public relation here, or
here,
the community, the various organizations headed by various leaders in our community.
No, I think
they've done really good job in bringing the true pictures of, for example, the Christian, Iraqi Christian, right?
I think they've done a remarkable job. Certainly the Arab American community here in Washington and other places have done a really good job in talking about the Palestinian issue, talking about the issue of the stereotypes of Muslims and the false
Islamophobia.
The Islamic phobia and the false the false painting of what Islam is. So I think I wouldn't presume that they needed my help.
But still, the issue is on the increase, the perception of
those issues are important
candidate for the president, especially from the Republican Party. Are you Republican, by the way?
No.
Okay, from
I'm
Republican,
I'm client focused.
I mean, you need the best public relation in the world in order to convince this candidate, Donald Trump, to modify his statement.
But I'm not so sure whether it's so much him, convincing him, because he's such a unique character. I think,
or the followers, and he has a great followers.
It's the followers of Donald Trump whom you need to convince, which is difficult, if not impossible, because of their own predisposition. And I think it's not so much the followers shaping Trump's message, but Trump exploiting their biases and their racism.
This is his opportunity to generate as much support as possible, and he's taking advantage of this.
Correct.
And what does it take academically for an individual to become public relations specialist or worker?
Well, I hate to say it, but I only have a bachelor's degree. I have 15 credits from the University of Detroit in international affairs, but that's been a long time ago. But I think
you're not going to pursue it.
No, I may, I may. But I think the important thing is that you need to be aware. You need to have a passion for issues. You need to have a passion for research, for writing.
Skill. You have to be
getting inside someone's head. Not to simply convince them that you're with them, but to demonstrate that you're with them.
And the social media is really creating so much. I mean,
a lot of additional opportunity.
Absolutely. Does it? Do you see public relation will the job of public relation will be piecemeal or slowly eliminated because of the tools that each and every individual are using nowadays? Social media. I can use it to my interest. I don't need to hire public relation and pay $10,000 a month or $5,000 in order.
That's a good figure.
Approximately.
That's a good figure.
Yeah. Do you think a public relation, just like any other job, will be flourished or eliminated little by little?
No, I think
because of social media. I want to follow up on this also. How do you utilize social media in order to improve your performance?
Those are great questions. But let's take it back to the fact that anyone can manage a Facebook page, a LinkedIn profile, or a Twitter account.
Sure.
It all goes back to messaging. If you can't message or
Right.
convey the messages the right way, then it means nothing.
Forget it.
Then it means nothing. And even with the decline of traditional paper
Sure.
newspapers, it has not negatively impacted public relations because there still are opportunities online, digital opportunities. There's still TV, there's still radio, there's podcasts on social media.
Sure.
There are 101 or more the different platforms, internet platforms, that allow you to publish news as if you were publishing it on TV.
And do you use it a lot?
I do.
In terms of what? I mean, what is the most that you use on daily basis, or your staff use it?
It depends on the client and what their needs are. But we'll use Facebook, we'll use internet news sites, and also podcasts.
What advice you offer to a company, a young company or a small firm that's just established, just like mine? I open an office in Livonia. Do I need public relation specialist in order to spread the word about whatever I am doing, or that it's not needed?
Well,
I can do it by myself.
I think so. I think it is needed.
What is the size of the company or the firm that must have a public relation?
It's not so much the size, but what's at risk, what's at stake, beg your pardon, what's at stake, and what your goals are. If your goals are
to
be on the fast track.
Maybe to provide the best possible services to the maximum number of people in the community.
Yeah.
So
if you're on the fast track for growth, then you definitely need to utilize a firm like mine.
And what does it cost in order to do that?
It
approximately
varies.
Again, varies from what to what?
It varies on the objectives. It varies on the strategies, on the breadth, on the intricate nature of what's being done.
Like in order, if I want to submit, for example, a proposal to the federal government, would you give me an advice? Would you follow up on that proposal? Do you have to have connection in order to or to have to maintain a good relation with certain department in order to explain to them about me and my office and the type of work that I do? Or
yeah, definitely, and certainly, your members of Congress are there.
Yes.
To help you with that process.
And are you dealing with any governmental agencies?
Not right
so
now.
far, no?
Not right
But
now.
you will?
I will be.
Anything that you want to say we did not talk about for the last half an hour or so?
No, it's been a wonderful opportunity, and I'm proud of our friendship, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Michael Bsharah, and hopefully we'll see you again, and hopefully we'll utilize your services to the benefit of our community. Thank you very much. أعزائي المشاهدين، شكرا لإصغائكم ومتابعتكم، وحتى ألتقي معكم في الأسبوع القادم في حلقة جديدة من برنامج ضيف وقضية. لكم مني ومن أسرة البرنامج أجمل تحية، والسلام عليكم.